From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings Lalate.
It's a big early morning this Sunday morning here in Santa Monica with your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this 4th of July announcement, we'll be going over the fourth stimulus check, how much you're going to get, when you're going to get it. In the first part of this video, we'll be going over the possibility that there may actually be more months of checks. Then the second part of this video, we'll be going over the add-ons, that there is additional money coming to you under this fourth stimulus check package in addition to the check itself. OMG. And then the third part of this video, we go over how they go for the vote. How they do the vote is more important than when they do the vote, and we'll learn the details in this big recording. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall with another stimulus check and raise your benefits up a lifetime. And then we turn to the big money that viewers are getting across the board, $22,000. Viewers are getting $10,000 and $12,000, countless massive sums of money. It's a big early morning, and it's a big opportunity for you to get this money as well. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. I'm here, you're here, and this is Early Mornings Lalate. Congratulations and happy 4th of July to you and your family. Hope you're having a beautiful weekend. So much exciting details. Hope the weather is good where you are. It's been perfect weather, at least on Saturday and the start of the Sunday morning as well. Hope the weather is good where you are. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update, the first part we'll be going over the monthly stimulus checks and why you may actually be getting more checks under this fourth stimulus package than just a few days ago. We thought, wow. Then we cut to the big fourth stimulus package itself and why there may be other monies in there and why it's now easier to pass. And then in the third part of this video, we will be going over how they're going to pass it and why it's key to understand what's happening next week. It's all incredible news. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall with another stimulus check, raises your benefits up lifetime. And then we turn to the money the viewers are getting, $22,000, $10,000, $12,000. This is Lalate, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. This is early mornings Lalate, but right as the show ends, it'll send you into overnight's crypto live on the channel. Then mornings Lalate, 9 a.m. live on air, and mornings crypto and noontime, all live coming up. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Hit that subscribe button right now. I want you part of this family. Also, like this video. Every like helps. It delivers a side of parsley. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus check and the surprising details about how you may end up having more checks than just a week ago. Check that out. The House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. There you go. Or senators. Well, July to December. Let's go out over the payouts. House, $2,000 after the first month, $1,000. Senate, amount unknown, but word on the street is this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Boy, oh boy. But then there's this. Yeah, that thing. Pandemic plus 1 year. We started the week by thinking that the legislators may contend the pandemic is over for purposes of legislative creation, and that they may just give you 12 months of checks, which is $13,000. But that may no longer be the case of $13,000 because what's at issue here is a lot of people are now saying that the pandemic is not over. Warren Buffett this week, pandemic's not over. LA County, pandemic's not over. The airlines, pandemic's not over. Business travel's not back. So if they're all right, then the House bill may actually give you more stimulus checks than just 12, and that would amount to a lot more than $13,000. Compare that to this in the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate, tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? Wow, now that is a big, surprising change of developing details. You know, pandemic's not over, then you get more than 12 checks from the House. Wow. There you go. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? The Democrats would represent that everyone who got a third stimulus check gets a fourth one. So, single individual, 75,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check does not come in waves. So if you see the check on the skateboard at the beach today, trying the skateboard, and he's like, what are you doing? Sort of bouncing a lot, Mr. Check there. And you see the check, it's, sort of trying that skateboard. I mean, do checks go on skateboards? Hey, check, how you doing? It didn't respond back, rude check. It's not a rude check. It's just not a waivable check. You're a rude check. I hope you bounce. Oh, bounce check. There you go. The Democrats represent they're going to give you a real check, not one that bounces in the month of July. For the month of July and the month of August, for the month of August. It won't bounce either. At least we hope not. And there you go. The fourth stimulus check vote. We'll be going over that later in this video. Chuck and Nancy said it would happen by July 4th, but we'll go over that later in this video. But boy, there you go. In the second part of this video, we go over the voting. We go over the fourth stimulus recon, where your checks are and why you'll be actually getting other monies additionally, which are absolutely surprising. And then in the third part of this video, we go over how they vote, which is a lot more important than when they vote. But let's get a preview of the second half of this video, which is fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heats up with another stimulus check and the raising up of your benefits. Wow. Wonderful news. I have breaking news about this as well, and that's later in this video. But let's get some money. It's Sunday money, or Money Sunday. And that's what we do on this channel. If you're new to this channel does not track checks. This channel does not tell you what day a check lands in your hand, nor when a donut lands in your hand. We don't do that. That's donut talk. What day am I? When am I? Where is my in my hand? We don't do that on this channel. We get moolah, and we get it right now. Second stimulus is sort of like what's happening right now. When we were in December, people were waiting for second stimulus to happen. It wasn't happening. And I stepped in. I got viewers $250,000 of rent. Viewers like Tyrone out of Boston got $14,000 for his family of four and changed their lives. They had money throughout the holidays. I got viewers a lot of money through the holidays, and now I'm doing the same as well. And I am so proud of my viewers like you because you're getting fortunes. Nisi got $22,000 from this channel the last few days. John got $12,000 a snap. Viewers are getting $10,000 to $12,000 of rent, $3,000 of utilities, $5,000 to $12,000 in snap. And money is money. Who cares what it's called? It's money. We're not waiting and tracking a check or cashing checks. So get that pen and paper ready. We're going to go over the big money you can get right now from this channel. And that's what I do. I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans in spring of last year to save their businesses, their home, their employees' homes, and their own homes as well. And we're going to go over the big money. You're going to look at different places where that money is available, and if one says no, reach out to the next, because they also have their own pots of money. Are you ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. We're looking for rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage assistance because of COVID, and utility assistance. And so what are the words you say? You say rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage assistance because of COVID, and utility assistance because of COVID. Yet don't say words they don't know. Like stimulus, they don't know that word. And you don't say other words they don't know, like Mitch's wonderful backup singing career. What? My ear just hurts thinking about that. They don't know that. They don't want to know about that. No one wants to know about that. So don't say those words. And there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful money. The next pot of money is SNAP. And John, as you saw in this video, got $12,000 for his family. Congratulations, John. Art got 3 items from this channel, including SNAP. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son and Amon. Gail got it as well. Viewers are getting this all across the board. And the most obvious number is usually $5,000 to $6,000. What is SNAP? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. And how much does it pay? A fortune. A family of 4 in Hawaii now gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of 2 executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And you're killing it. If you're watching this video and you have not jumped to the live chat to say what you got, jump in the live chat right now. Say what monies you got, whether it's rent, utilities, SNAP, jump in there. And if you've posted before once on another video, do it again, because every time you post, it inspires other people to get in that live chat and get that money as well. And you're killing it. $16,000 for SNAP for family, for in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent. And we are only 10 minutes of the video. Well, we got more money for you right now. A check, you're not killing it. Sorry, you're just sort of bounce check. Let's get the next pot of money. And the next pot of money is coming back from the states. States have been ordered to return money back to you that they initially paid you due to overpayment of unemployment benefits. Now it's coming back. Where? Direct deposit to the account you had on file with the state's unemployment department. When? Reach out to the state and say, hey, state, I'm looking for that check you overpaid me due to computer error. And can you track it this time with a computer that actually works? And finally, the last wonderful pot of money is the refund check from IRS. If you got this as well, jump in the live chat, because every information you share helps someone else. Let's go over the details. Cod got it, Margaret got it, and Tim got it. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of total taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on the 2020 return to IRS for your unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you are getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, you can. About 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, and go in there. And it'll reveal stuff you never known. It'll reveal some stuff that you may not want to know. Oh, God, what is that? It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you pay. It will reveal, really, who is Mitch's inspiration for his new rap career. It'll reveal whether a Kanye is joining Mitch on tour. It'll reveal when you're getting that refund check from IRS. There you go. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second and major big update about your fourth stimulus of right now. Here's what you need to know, is that the viewers of this channel are so smart. The subscribers of this channel are so smart. The members are so smart. But there's some people that are not viewers of this channel who are just either not smart or they just don't want to be smart. And so they sometimes say things like, just write it up and vote on it, and it's done. And send it out. That's not how legislation's done. Legislation's not done where you just sort of type something on a computer and you say, hey, I just put myself out of focus. It's not sort of written out where you just say, type something up and say, hi, I wrote it up, call for a vote, and just send out a check. That's not how legislation's done. And I see some of these comments, it's a very simplistic way of thinking. Things aren't that easy in life. If they were that easy in life, then Mitch would have a singing career. They're not that easy in life. And here's what you need to know, is that 3.5 weeks ago, well, now it's 4.5 weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the president understood that if they had called the vote at the time, your recon would die. You would never pass. You would never get a penny. Nothing would happen. What was wrong? The recon was too big at the time. All it was recon. That was all we had, recon. Stimulus checks in there, roads and bridges, it was just recon. It was too big. And they said, Mr. President, we called for a vote, it's going to die. It will never pass. So what did they do? 2 Wednesdays ago, they decided to take roads and bridges out of the recon. By doing so, roads and bridges were out of the recon. It now was a smaller recon, and it made it now a passable recon, meaning that now that it was shrunk, it was easier to pass if called for a vote. The roads and bridges were now spun off in their own TV series, not called Roads and Bridges, but Nash Bridges, with Don Johnson. No, it's called Bipartisan. It's called Bipartisan. And suddenly all your stuff stayed where it was in the recon, but we had 2 paths, recon and bipartisan. Remember, roads and bridges were thrown out and put into bipartisan, and your stuff stayed where it was in for stimulus, checks, and climate. 3 wonderful things came out of this to start. Number 1, recon became passable. Had it been called for a vote before, when we had just 1 path, it would have never passed because the recon was too big. Now it's passable because now it's smaller. Number 2, it got identity. The recon got identity because before, when roads and bridges was in the recon, the roads and bridges overshadowed everything else in the recon. Whether that was intentional or not, whether the president's appearing in front of a road and bridge, whether the president appearing in front of a picture of a road or a bridge, whether that was intentional by the president for you to only think about roads and bridges and not to think about all the many checks that are in there for you. Yeah. Whether that was intentional or not, it worked. And it got a lot of naysayers out of it. There's nothing in there except roads and bridges. There's no money in there for you, just roads and bridges, roads and bridges. Well, what happened to the naysayers when the roads and bridges were taken out of the recon and put in their own path, and now the roads and bridges are in the bipartisan? Well, the naysayers tried it. There's nothing in there still in the recon except... well, no, you can't say that. They got very angry, the naysayers, because now they couldn't whine about anything anymore. They're all wrong. And guess who told them they were wrong? Mitch McConnell. Thank you, Mitch. Mitch McConnell came out of nowhere and gave the recon on identity by trash talking it. That's the easiest way you're going to get identity, someone trash talking you. And what did Mitch say about the recon? It's a progressive wish list. It's a Democratic wish list. It's a wish list for wishes. It's socialism, just checks. People lazy, just stay at home. They don't need checks. Just lots of checks. Checks and too many checks for people who don't need checks. It's a wish list of checks. Thank you, Mitch. You just explained it to everyone. I appreciate that. And suddenly you had identity. Number 2, you had protection. Protection was key. And we had seen the comment from Jalapal. You heard it enough on this channel where Jalapal said that she and other progressives were told to protect the recon. She told us no less than 2 weeks ago, before the recon was separated from the bipartisan, that she and Schatz, who's also progressive out of Hawaii, said that the White House has said the progressive priorities are its own priorities and to continue to protect the recon. What did that mean? Not to protect the roads and bridges, folks. It's to protect your stuff. Well, if this couldn't get any better, it did, because this was the third benefit of now the two-path process. Once the roads and bridges were down the road and no longer in the recon was smaller. So with all that extra space came extra ability to back up the U-Haul truck. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, you hear that. That's the U-Haul truck backing up, driven by the progressives, backing it up to the recon and emptying stuff into the recon. And that's what the progressives actually now said. With the recon written by the Democrats, written by the Democrats, for the Democrats, and kept in Fort Recon, guess what progressives are doing? They are saying we're going to go as big as bold and add anything else we want in there now that we have some extra space made by roads and bridges being removed. The Progressive Caucus is with the White House daily over the last few weeks saying they will not support the recon unless it goes as big as they want it to go. And then Representative Ilhan Omar, a Democrat progressive out of Minnesota, says, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan, we will have a recon that goes as far as we wanted it. Wow. We're going to make that recon as big as we want to make it. And then Richie Torres, Democrat out of New York, also progressive, says, I refuse to vote for anything unless the recon goes as big as I want. And he wants in there housing. Housing? Yeah. You see, folks, there's a lot of money in recon. And the recon is only money for you. It's not money for roads and bridges. It's only money for you. It is money for children and elders and medicine and housing and stimulus checks. And there's so much stuff in there. So if there wasn't enough stuff in there before, the progressives are now adding more in there. Wow. Now that is wonderful news. And guess what? It now became passable. Let's go back to that last point. I started by saying the recon is now passable. Before, when everything was in recon when there was no two paths, it was one path, it was not passable. By spinning off the roads and bridges and the bipartisan, it made the recon now passable if they called for a vote. Who said this? Conservatives. And they basically said, Mitch was set up. Mitch was set up. What happened, this is from a conservative publication, an op-ed recently, that says the Republicans should never agree to do the bipartisan. That's the title of the article. It says the higher that the recon was, the harder it was to pass it. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take some parts out of the recon and put it into the bipartisan, the overall number of the recon bill got smaller. Well, obviously, yeah. And in other words, the bipartisan deal helped make the recon easier to pass. Yes, it did. And then it says the GOP should never have blessed the recon because doing it was enabled by creating the bipartisan. Poor Mitch, he just feels used. How do we get to this wonderful spot? From Jalapa, when Jalapa had written a letter to Schumer saying, call the vote shock. Now, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the 100-plus House Democrats who said to the president when they do the forced stimulus recon, that they're going to put a monthly stimulus check in there. Wow, can we top that? Yes, as 7 members of the House subcommittee, House Ways and Means, which you're going to see later in this video, wrote the president a letter saying, when we write forced stimulus recon, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. Well, who are these people? They're on the House Ways and Means Committee that's solely responsible for writing stimulus checks. But they're also on the committee that's solely responsible for writing the major parts of the recon. Remember, Republicans don't write the recon. They have nothing to do with the recon. They don't want a recon. The Democrats write it, and these people wrote your third stimulus recon earlier this year. They're writing your fourth stimulus and putting checks in there. And they're writing fifth stimulus recon for next year as well. Wow, can we top that? We can, as the president has anchored forced stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line without roads and bridges by doing an international agreement which involves corporate taxes. You notice when the president first debuted this months and months ago, he would appear in front of road and bridge and said, I need to raise corporate taxes to pay for that road and bridge. Well, now that the road and the bridge is down the river in the bipartisan, how's he paying for all your money for your deliciousness coming from forced stimulus? By corporate taxes still. How is he paying for the roads and bridges for? Not with corporate taxes. Yeah, you see how he sort of created a way to pay for it. And because no one, people will understand, corporate tax is higher for roads and bridges. I got that. That works with me. But corporate tax is higher to pay for someone else's medical bill. That's just, I can't digest that. And so he certainly knew what he's doing. And so what did he do? He had said that when doing the forced stimulus recon, he was going to raise the corporate taxes, but he was worried that in raising it, some business may move overseas where the corporate tax rate is lower. So he reached out to those countries overseas, said, raise your rate up. They said yes. And then I'll see you in December. He reached out to staff and said, staff, can we meet these countries in December, bring Dr. Jill's potpourri? And the staff said, Mr. President, you bring them potpourri in now in June. It's Europe. They do things different. They're on the other side of the road. They watch the Tour de France. So they said, yeah. And 3 weeks ago, yesterday, the president went overseas and got them to sign on the dotted line, which anchored forced stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line because now the provisions about international corporate taxes previously enforced stimulus recon are no longer needed in there. They're in the international agreement, making it easier for the Democrats and the progressives behind recon to pass the forced stimulus recon. Wow. Now that was smart. Can we top that? We can. With the third and final big blockbuster of a finale, with the third part of your forced stimulus coming up in just a second, you're going to be shocked about what's going on. I am as well. But first, something even more wonderful, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage, or internet, please get it. If you've tried to get it and you can't, reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll see an emoji of a house. It says community page. Click the link. It'll send you over to the volunteers. They're at news.la.com/community. They'll help you get that rent, utilities, mortgage, and internet and SNAP. Now, they cannot fix your roof. They cannot cook you an omelet. They cannot figure out how to do sugar-coated donuts. But they can get you about everything else, but not Mitch's mixtape either. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with big exciting details still about your fourth stimulus check update. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. and then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. And it's the 4th of July here on Early Mornings Lalate. How are you? I hope you're having a beautiful weekend. I'm with you all weekend long with a full schedule programming, so don't miss anything across the board. Coming up next, you stay on this video, it'll take you automatically into Overnight's Crypto playing right now on the channel. Breaking news out of China. You're going to be surprised with the breaking news. Then up is Mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. live from Santa Monica, followed by noontime. Also, Mornings Crypto, I forgot that as well. So subscribe. At 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like really helps in the algorithm rankings. It also ensures that Mitch's mixtape doesn't really get into mass circulation. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk Little Valley Calcino VIP. Let's get to the breaking details starting right now. The exciting details about 4th and 5th stimulus are still abound. And boy, 5th stimulus is really heating up in several regards. Number one for 5th stimulus is, of course, that 5th stimulus check. That's those same members of that House Ways and Means Committee represent. They're going to be giving you a 5th stimulus check in the 5th stimulus recon. 5th stimulus recon starts this fall, and the checks would be for next year. Number two, the president is dedicating $1 billion to the Social Security Administration to ensure that your benefits get out on time. This is huge for 3rd stimulus, 4th stimulus, and 5th stimulus, and also your monthly checks. If you're missing the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd stimulus check, you need to do two things: file a tax return and request that missing stimulus check. If you haven't done both, reach out to your tax preparer. And then finally, we go into the weekend with so much breaking news about the inflationary benchmark that raises your benefits up under SSI and SSDI reform. What are we seeing? We see this. We have on Friday the new jobs numbers creation. This is job creation number. The number was hot, signaling inflation. Thursday, the new job the unemployment number released, relatively flat because the continuing number dropped, but the new number dropped, but the continuing number rose. So it's sort of a break even. Wednesday, lumber dropped 40% as housing went straight up. That's signaling big inflation growth as well. And then over the last week, PPI, CPI, all real hot. So inflation's going up. Let's go over how this calculates for you. The new inflationary benchmark we can go over in a second. They're going to raise your benefits up, then apply the inflationary benchmark, remove the asset limit, remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this calculates. A lot of these details I think you've understood by the analysis of this channel over the last few days. Number one, they're going to raise your benefits up lifetime. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, or Calcino benefits, even multiple benefits. Next, they're going to apply the benchmark of inflation. Now, you understand what a benchmark is. It's for December for next year's benefits. You understand the new benchmark is going to be inflation. You understand that inflation's going up, and you understand that inflation may reach its highest price point in December, according to Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, when they apply that benchmark for this new benefits. Well, everything is lining up wonderful. So the only thing left to question is, when are they going to pass this? And also, how high is that inflation going to be? Let's use one of the numbers that Wall Street's toiling with, is 10% inflation by December. Well, that would mean your benefits raise up 10%, not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Wow. So that means that if the inflation rate is 1% next year, then you'll be at plus 10%, and then plus 10%. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. And they're removing the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law. This is, you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away, and you'll be able to have a stimulus check in your hand. And also a TACA. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law. That's a tongue twister. And preventing you from working and also staying on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear the marriage penalty. You'll be able to marry your interest, and if you are suffering from the marriage penalty, it will end. And there you go. That is 5th stimulus. But in addition to food stimulus, did you notice all the people posting in the live chat the monies they've got? If you haven't posted, post it right now. Rent, utilities, SNAP, internet. How are they doing this? And why are so many of them with an emoji of a purple hawk next to their name? Because they're members. The membership links at the top of the chat and pinned comments. Members are delivered all the details of what's the money in third stimulus for them to get. Because when third stimulus passed, I said, yeah, you get a $14 stimulus check. But wouldn't you like to get all the $14,000 that so many people are getting from this third stimulus? It's mostly application based. And so individuals who become members are delivered from me a breakdown of all the big items under third stimulus that you can get. Tens of thousands of dollars. That's why viewers are getting $10, $12, $22,000 all the time on this channel. So consider becoming a member. The link at the top of the chat and the pinned comment, and there we go. Which brings us into the final big update of your fourth stimulus for 2021. Boy, here we go. So it's important to note, and there's a lot of learning to learn here quickly, is we're going to know first how they call the vote is so more important than when they call the vote. You can't be a date chaser. Just call the vote. No, don't just call the vote. You just call the vote. The bill dies. You get nothing. You can't call the vote when the bill is not ready to be called for a vote. And I don't think that people who want to take the time to become a viewer, subscriber, or member, and just sort of like floating on social media saying, just call the vote, they don't take the time to really learn it. You have to only call something for a vote when everything is fine. And just because you have a bill doesn't mean it's fine. Just because you wrote it up doesn't mean it's fine. You have to have everything right. 3.5 weeks ago, it wasn't fine. 2 weeks ago, it wasn't fine. The recon was too big. Now that they've taken out the roads and bridges and put it in the separate bipartisan, it is a passable bill. It is something that can pass with a vote. Next, they have to ensure that now that it's a passable item, that it's voted in the right sequential order. So if you're a person say, okay, I got it. It's separate from the bipartisan now. Now it's ready to be called for a vote. Oh, then so just call for a vote on Monday. Just call for a vote on Tuesday. Well, no, because again, you don't understand the next issue, which is the order in which they called for a vote could also kill it. Here's what you need to know. There's 3 ways to call the recon for a vote. After the bipartisan, at the same time as the bipartisan, or before the bipartisan. If they call the recon, your recon, fourth stimulus recon, after the bipartisan for a vote, it will die. The Democrats confirm it, the Republicans confirm it. So you can't do it after the bipartisan. So you see now why these things have to be plotted very carefully, because if you rush and do it the wrong way, all the work is over. It's like spending a lot of time writing things up and preparing and doing it, and then you sort of rush to the finish line and say, hey, just call for a vote, just call for a vote. No, you're not even thinking about how you call for a vote, and then it doesn't pass. Oh no, well, do it again. Can't do it again. Done. Done. You have to do it the right way. You have to do it the right way. So calling the vote has to be done either before the bipartisan or concurrently. Now, for anyone that wants to say a lot of negativity, like they don't care, they're just delaying, they're waiting around, they're preparing, I will tell you, here is the quote from Jalapal, the person who wants to give you the monthly stimulus check, who wrote the monthly stimulus check vote, that she's not only not delaying, she's preparing ahead of time before the bipartisan and the recon are separated. What's going on here? Whether you call it plotting against Mitch, setting up Mitch, or preparing to do things right, it's all the same thing. Jalapal, in a quote this obtained by this channel, the quote is from this last Monday and refers to 10 days before that. You can do the math quickly in your brain. The 10 days before last Monday is not last Wednesday. It's earlier than that. It's the week before that last Wednesday. Jalapal says that far before the bipartisan was separated from the recon, she was already polling the Democrats what should be the voting order. She's asking the question before the bipartisan is separated from the recon. Yeah, let's go to the graphics so you understand how planned out this is. This is very elaborate. So you understand this is how it is now. recon and bipartisan. This became this situation, not this last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that. Jolopal's comment, however, is dated, it puts the date of the poll before this event occurred, when it was just recon. So when it was just recon and it had yet been split, what did she do? We did a poll of our members, and the overwhelming majority of our caucus said they're not going to vote on the bipartisan without the recon going for vote first. So they prepared out how to vote on this before they split it out. First, they realized the recon was too big. Then they realized they had to protect the recon. They had to protect the progressive policies. Then they realized, well, if they split it out, they have to do a voting order in a certain particular way. Folks, this is about as prepared I've ever seen anything for legislation in 1 year. I've never seen people prepare steps so quickly. So for everyone that just wants to say, had they called the vote? What day are they calling the vote? I feel guilty for Jolopal because it sort of diminishes all the work she's done to make sure that things go the correct way. Nancy comes in with a more blunt remark, which sort of like sounds like she wants to go after the naysayers. There ain't going to be no bipartisan vote unless we have a recon vote first. And as I said, there won't be a bipartisan vote unless we have a recon vote first. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan vote unless we have a recon bill passed by the United States Senate. You think she's a little bit emphatic about something? Yeah, she's seen it as a big issue. It's a huge issue. When I just told you earlier, you do in the wrong order, you don't get anything. She's basically saying, we ain't doing it in the wrong order. We're doing it in the right order. Remember, the two people who call votes are Lita Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, the only two people in the Constitution who can determine when things are called for a vote and how they're called for a vote and what is called for a vote. So you're protected in the voting path order. So it's important to know how they call the vote is more critical than the day they call the vote. Next. You know how I do reporting is I always prepare you for potential false narratives before they formulate. Well, guess who's doing the same thing I'm doing? The House Ways and Means Subcommittee members and the House Budget Subcommittee members. What did they do? They did the same thing I do. This last Friday, they issued statements saying, don't say we're not in town working. Well, I mean, they didn't say it that way, but that's basically the parenthesis. Parenthesis, don't you dare say we're not in town working, close parenthesis. We're in town working next week, and we're in subcommittee meetings every single day. Period. Apostrophe. That's for you, Fox News. What's going on? In July 2020, we had enough of the fake narratives where people use the word not in session as a way to confuse the American people who don't really understand and don't have to know how Congress meets and how they meet and what the words are. And they would hear the word not in session and say, they're not in town till November. And they would hear these stories and they would buy the stories. It was such, that word. So it was just untrue. Here's what you need to know. Is the House Ways and Means Committee and the Budget Committee, which are the most important people for stimulus, actually issued statements before the weekend saying, we're in town next week. We're not leaving anywhere. And we're not just in our office. We're not just in town. We're not just in our offices. We're actually in the House subcommittee meetings every single day to get this recon done. Thank you. Thank you for doing my work. Now, here's what you need to know about what in session means. There's this building. It's called Congress and Capitol Hill. And it has the Senate on one side. It has the House on the other side. There's a lot of rooms in that building. One of the rooms is the House floor, and another room is the Senate floor. And when the room is open, it's called in session. And when the room is closed, with the key is closed and the door is locked, and Nancy has the key in her hair or her ear each. Nancy has the key as her earring or something like that. When it's closed, it means not in session. When the two rooms are closed, it means not in session. It does not mean that people are in the South Pacific having Mai Tais. It means that they are either down the hall in their office or they are down the hall in a subcommittee meeting, working every single day in a subcommittee meeting. But there's always a fake narrative that wants to tell you if they're not in session, they're in another side of the equator. It's just so untrue. It's ridiculously untrue. But people hear the story and they believe it. Finally, if you watched the videos from this channel from July of last year, it takes only one blink of the eye to get anything to open those doors. those floor doors. So the Speaker of the House can put them back into session. The leader of the Senate can put them back into session. And the president can order them back into session. And they did this last year in 2020 when Nancy Pelosi ordered them back into session for Louis DeJoy, for the postal officer. In less than 24 hours, they were all ordered back into session, and they did, and they voted. And there we go. And that is an exciting week ahead of us. It's going to be a big, exciting week, and I'm excited for you across the board. Information is king on this channel. You need the information. You need to know how things work, what words mean, how things get passed. Doing simple analysis like just what day and where is the bill, and just call it for a vote is naivety, because ultimately things done the wrong way quickly do not pass. And ultimately, our job is to get the big money out there. So make sure you get the big money of this channel. Make sure you get the big money covered in this channel. Also, if you have problems getting it yourself, reach out to the volunteers. And meantime, stay on this video because it will automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto. We have a lot of breaking news overnight as well. Just stay on this video and take you there automatically. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel, part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so that you get delivered daily all the big money you can get under third stimulus. It's thousands of dollars. I want you to get that big money right now. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with Ally for more.